What is going on, guys? This is Blab. I appreciate you coming back, and without further ado, let's blab. So I wanted to talk quickly about the price action over the last 24 hours after the release day of Destined Rivals. I do think it's interesting to see the secondary market and some of these prices on these products for a few specific reasons. I also am going to get into how to find this product at the cheapest price. No, I'm not shilling you some random website or telling you to buy it today or in a week or in a month. I'm talking specifically on release day. If unfortunately you miss out at MSRP prices, when is the best hour to buy this product? When do you have the best chance of finding, that floor for the day, right? I'm not talking about what the price is going to be in 2 weeks, a month, or 2 years. If you're buying it on release day and you can't get product at MSRP or stop by your local game store or any of those things, when is the best time to buy it on TCG Player? But before we get into that, I do just, want to look at these prices, right? So we're looking at $250 for a booster box. We're looking at a little over $50 for a booster bundle, and we're looking at about $100 shipped for the ETB. So what does that mean? If you buy this booster box at MSRP, $165, you are making less than $100 on that, which is, it's still a chunk of change, but, nothing crazy compared to like some of the other things we've seen in the Pokemon market. However, most big box stores I've seen, Walmart's, GameStops, places like this, selling this at pre-tax price of $200. So depending on what state you live in, you're looking at $215, $220 for this product. And then if you're legitimately going to sell it for $250 online, shipping and seller's fees, you're losing money on this product buying it from most big box stores. However, I've seen tons of retail or MSRP prices in big box stores and online for the Destined Rivals booster bundle as well as the Destined Rivals Elite Trainer box. And if you're a dirty scalper or whatever, investing your money here or here will double your money day of, right? $26 retail, it's going for $52 shipped. $49.99 retail, it's going for $98 shipped, right? So I don't know if you have X amount of dollars, $100, $1,000, $1 million. On day one, you're doubling your money here, okay? On day one, you're making, 75%. If you get it for that MSRP price and you're making zero, if you're getting it at $200 plus tax. So I found that very interesting. Another thing that I found interesting was following the price action from around 6 a.m. on release day to about 6 p.m. And you'd think that, at 6 a.m. it just comes out, the scalpers are going to have crazy high prices. It's not necessarily true. You can see here the total sold 5,215 in one day, right? The high price being at $450 all the way back in pre-release. The low price being at $220. So when was that $220 sold? The $220 was sold in that, early quadrant of the day, in the morning. TCG runs their business in the way that only a handful of sellers can pre-sell this item, right? So there's literally 4 or 5 or 6 sellers that can pre-sell this item. That means when the item comes out on release day that morning, every other store, business, individual is then able to post. So they can post their, boxes for sale on TCG Player. TCG Player is owned by eBay, right? So they have similar rules on eBay, even though a lot of people try to exploit it. TCG Player does a good job, but they're owned by eBay, right? Or at least they used to be owned by eBay. I'm not sure if there's been a fragmentation there, whatever. That's a whole other video. However, when is that $220 box being sold? I'll tell you, it's early in the morning. You think scalpers are trying to get the highest prices? Nope, they're trying to get rid of product. If they got product at MSRP 165, or maybe they have some wholesale distribution where they're getting it for, whatever they get it for, they're trying to get rid of it for profits as soon as possible. So it's a race to the bottom at most of these releases. So it races to the bottom, 220, and then around, sometime in the afternoon, it'll start to go up. And I think that a lot of people, they attempt to get their product for MSRP on release day. If they're unable to get it, they then come to TCG Player. And if you're doing it early in the morning, well, there's that race to the bottom, you're getting that product. If you're doing it in the afternoon when there's a lot more buyers coming in, the sellers have already posted in the morning, but now there's a ton more buyers coming in. So with those people trying to acquire boxes, the price can then get raised in just a couple of hours. The race to the bottom gets gobbled up, meaning the 220s, the 230s, the 240s, and then at 250, they're still selling fairly well by the afternoon, right? So all of those panic sellers at 220 are kind of wiped out, and they try to. There's the stabilization of the market begins to take shape. I'd say the afternoon of the release. So yeah, obviously you can see here this low price of 220 I'm telling you, that was, at least for me on the East Coast, that was like in the morning, right? That you're looking at like 7, 8 a.m. Same thing here. What's the low price? $34.99. So you could get this product, MSRP, $26 plus tag. You're paying $30 out the door, $35 on here, right? So like the gains don't seem as crazy, but the gains come with time. I'm saying if you're a buyer and you want to buy this product as cheap as possible from a reputable source and can't go to a big box store or can't get it for MSRP, early morning release day. Everybody will tell you, oh, if you can't get it from MSRP, you just got to either sit out or you got to, whatever, you want the product. Don't let anybody tell you why you want the product. You want to rip it, you want to trade it, you want to just put it up on your mantelpiece and look at it all day. I don't care. I'm just trying to tell you when the time is to buy it, right? Same thing here. Let's see what the low price is. Man, we got a little loading going on. Let's see. Okay. Low sale $15. Obviously, that seems pretty manipulated. I will tell you, I was watching it. $80. $80 to $88 is what this was going for in that 6 to 9 a.m. range. $80 to $88. Then we climb back up to that 96. And I'm not saying it might be 80 in a couple weeks, right? This might be reprinted, whatever. I'm telling you, if you want product on release day, you got to do it early in the morning. It just is what it is. So just really those two things. The fact that the booster box, the number one investment, the thing that you have to get. I don't know, if you invested on it day one, you're not looking great. If you invested in this $200 from a retail store plus tax and you plan on selling it online and shipping it, oh, I'm going to make the buyer pay shipping. Okay, have the buyer pay shipping. Now you're still giving TCG or eBay or whatever, you're still giving them 15%, so you're losing money there. You walk in with this product to an LGS store, well, first, most of them will probably laugh at you, say we're not buying any of that product until, the maturity of the market on it, let it establish its price. Maybe you could walk into an LGS store and sell this in a couple of weeks or a month. But, if we take the idea that it didn't just release and you have a $250 booster box, most LGS stores are giving you like maybe 70% cash. A lot of LGS stores are giving you like 50% cash on your products. Don't let these other YouTubers tell you, oh, LGS stores give 80%. No, they don't. Maybe if you go to an event and you pay money to go to, a Collecticon or something like that, maybe you'll get a buyer to buy something from you for 75, 80% cash. 90% trade if you have some really good stuff. You are paying a percentage of your profits when you sell this product, right? So if you're buying it at $230 and you're selling it at $250 or $230, let's say $220 with tax, and you're selling it at, let's say you get a buyer at $260, you're still losing money there. Over here, the same thing applies. You're not going to make, those flippant 100% gains, right? $27 out the door at a Target, and you're selling for $52. You're probably only really seeing like $45 from that, right? So something you need to think about when you're selling in general. But if we take that out of the equation, this price right here, what you can buy for, is double MSRP. Double MSRP, okay? This number one investment is not, okay? So keep that in mind. Invest, collect, do what you want. I'm just telling you what I've been seeing, over the release day, the price action, all of those kinds of things. If you want to know what I did, well, it's none of my business what I did. Maybe I scalped it out the back door of my LGS. Maybe I got a connection. Maybe I got distribution. You don't know why do people care what other people do, right? I'm just telling you what the numbers are and what the numbers are saying, right? And that's really all there is to it, right? Like there's a $220 sale, multiple sales in the morning, release day, okay? There's $80 to $88 sales in the morning on release day. I'm just trying to, just put the word out. You do what you want, but that's what it is. The set looks sick, but anyway, appreciate y'all stopping by. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.